Welcome to the best Vex build in Borderlands 4 that doesn't abuse bleed, the crit knife, or any obviously going to get nerfed interaction or gun. Enjoy! Hello, my fellow Vault Hunters and my fellow Vex mains. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That was genuinely without anything busted happening behind the scenes. This is nerf-proof Vex because nothing that powers this is in their sights. They have said they're going to fix some of the ridiculous interactions that kind of make builds a moot point. Whether you agree with that or not is one thing, but it is going to happen. And they've specified bleed, they'll obviously look at the knife, stuff like kickballer Jakobs, the fact that the bod shotgun is taking way more damage than it should from enhancements that increase damage, Groundbreaker, making melee builds do billions of damage, and a whole host of other stuff. Whereas this is just pure Vex goodness. The ultimate in bullet hose technology, taking advantage of something that I don't think anyone's really properly looked into yet. And that is this little gem, Cursed Blade. You melee something, and then every time they take gun damage, they take a little pop of damage. On paper, this seems really weak, and in most cases, it is really weak. But the situation that it's not really weak is when you're pumping out ungodly amounts of bullets per second, proccing it constantly, coupled with your naturally aimed crits, 200%ing it up as everything is multiplied by the rest of your build. This is essentially the natural perfected version of my build a while back using this same gun that we're using here with everything that we now know about the game. And even something like CQC here, in order to activate Cursed Blade with the melee, gives us an extra 30% fire rate, so there's some beautiful synergies going on, and I really cannot express the fire rate. If you like a gun to go burr, this is the build for you. And of course, you still can use the crit knife if you're not against it, if you like it. This is Vault Guardian here with the crit knife. As you can see, yeah, blip. And then if I do him again, but without the crit knife, well, you can see that this really isn't dependent on the crit knife at all. And I think that is just so good. So when Gearbox come a-calling, and the overpowered broken stuff starts a-falling, this Vex build will still be standing a-talling taller than all others. Seriously, this is it killing the second highest health boss in the game. Again, without the crit knife, and its speed is comparable to the ridiculously busted things that you've probably seen around the place. And if you want even more proof, well, let's move to the highest health boss in the game. Slight spoiler warning if you somehow don't know what Timekeeper Phase 2 looks like. In any case, yeah, here we go. It's not exactly slow, and again, no crit knife, no anything. This thing is beautiful and I am so proud of it. And well, I hope you like what you see. If you do, well, let's go over how to get it set up for yourself. Alrighty then. Then I just want to really put a spotlight on your curse. So obviously, when you melee, you'll do that, and you'll see this glowing pink effect around them. This means that when you deal gun damage, they will get this extra burst of damage. So here, I just did 12k gun damage, and it was an extra 4k in curse, which is obviously a huge increase. And coupled with us getting extra attack speed from it, it obviously adds a lot of numberage to what we're doing. And to make that really, really clear, and yes, obviously meleeing is a little bit annoying. I did experiment with the ranged melee, but it just takes too many skill points to be worth it. Against flying enemies and awkward enemies, I mean, just shoot normally. It's not like you're not doing a lot of damage even without the curse. But to do a quick demo for you, if I completely spend my magazine here in the head of our unfortunate training dummy, we do about 1.5 million damage. That's kind of our base to have in your head. If I first melee to activate the curse, then do the exact same thing, well, we approach 2.4 million damage, which is obviously like a nearly 900,000 damage increase, which is obviously massive, hence why curse in this speed setup is kinda crap. Starting with your blue tree dead ringer, we put 5 points in cold iron. It's the best option of everything that we have here, and just get a little bit more gun damage. If you're finding general mobbing annoying with this, you can put 2 points in cold iron and then 3 points in faster reload, and it'll feel a little bit smoother. After that, we get 5 points in the star of the show, Cursed Blade, and then 1 in extra curse, so those crits do 200% more damage, which is obviously very, very tasty. Everything else then will be going into your Incarnate green tree. We're starting with Leeching Attunement to start building that lifesteal, and the reload speed is nice when we're not bossing, and then we want full on into Fiendish Invigoration for 10 seconds of that hyper fire rate, extra 30%. After that, we grab ourselves material components. This is more of a, it's kind of the best thing to spend another 5 points on. Honestly, you could end up just doing enchantment and get a little bit more kinetic damage, but that's only while you've got your action skill, whereas this is on all the time, so better for mobbing. It's very, very close. These 5 points can kind of go wherever you want, because we're not bleeding, though that said, some of the footage you have seen does have a earlier version of the build that did have bleed, but ironically, the raw gun damage was killing things so fast that the bleed wasn't actually helping that much, so I ended up reassigning the points. In any case, then we put 5 out of 5 in a target prescience, so we get a 15% crit chance anywhere, so 15% chance to always do extra curse no matter where we hit, and given how fast we're hitting, yeah, that's a lot of crits. And I did also try a full kill skill version of this with usual mortal terror, but it just felt a little bit worse. Too many peaks and troughs, and it just wasn't as smooth as this setup. And then we do drink full, of course, for that a huge amount of attack speed, and grab Witchy Triggerfinger as your augment. This is kind of required as it's what, you know, restores the all ammo in your gun and lets you just permanently fire the weapon. And the extra gun damage is obviously lovely too. Then we go over here and we get Grave Vitality, just because we don't care about skill damage, so we may as well get this, it's not a big deal, and then Essence Leech for even more lifesteal. The lifesteal then is all very important because of Blood is Power. Getting 300% of it as extra kinetic damage is huge. We have 20% here while we're in our action skill, we have 10% here for 30, we have 10% on our class mods, another 5% from our firmware, so we're starting to get into some big extra near 150% gun damage territory, which is obviously delicious. Now, we don't take Heartpiercer, because if we take Heartpiercer, the time it takes to cast Eldritch Blast means that you will run out of ammo and constantly have to reload. So we leave it off. It's not a gain, we just want regular Eldritch Blast with Witchy Triggerfinger, otherwise things just don't work out. And for a quick example of that, if I get this going, have my rep kit, loads more of my attack speed like that, I can do it the one time, and then we just run out before we can do it again, so we can't use it. So leave Heartpiercer off. That's then your skill tree all set up. For your specialization, well, we want ourselves the best defense for that 30% damage when shield is full, which it nearly always will be despite a synergy we're using. We want the fire rate for 30 seconds after meleeing, as we will be meleeing to trigger the curse. We want the extra gun damage from Riddle You This, and then lastly, now if caffeine makes everything flow a bit smoother, you can incarnate more often, or if you want just fully max damage, extra gun damage while walking isn't bad, you can essentially just pick anything for your fourth. Nothing left here is absolutely super critical, or just go in the zone and do this aiming down sights if you want even more damage. Next up then, let's talk gear. The weapon, which is the main juice here, is your Whiskey Foxtrot. This is an absolute beauty, and it's something of one of my favorite guns ever since I found it. I've experimented with a lot of weapons for this, and it's just hard to top it. getting nearly 19 bullets a second by default, yet still maintaining that really solid 1100 damage per bullet base is hard to beat. An equivalently fast-firing SMG, for example, has half the damage per bullet, and when we're scaling damage so much, you just can't really replace it. Scrap Cannon's also nice if you really want to min-max and make the target take more damage as well before you start doing the full brr, etc. But this thing really is hard to beat, and by hard to beat, not a single gun I've tried has come close, so you want this, but make sure you get the Ripper one. The Ripper one is important. It's what lets you get such silly fire rates while maintaining damage. I know charging up is a little bit annoying. You could get away with a lesser version, but ideally you do want the Ripper licensed magazine. After that, then, we have, well, let's just get it out the way, your grenade slot, right? Technically, the crit knife is the best one. I'm going to recommend it because it's a best build, and this is the best thing currently to use. Now, when this gets nerfed, it's probably going to go from guaranteed crits to, like, maybe plus 10% crit chance, and even in that situation, it's still the best thing to use. Even just for the amp payload, it's the best thing to use on gun builds, so here it is, but you can use this or any other grenade. It's not hugely important. Then, for our rep kit, you want very specifically a war paint, and that 30% fire rate is just huge on, you know, a fire rate build. You also want enrage on it for that extra 30% damage. This is a huge amp for 15 seconds, and 15 seconds is enough to kill any boss in the game, so yeah, just perfect. After that, then, for your enhancement, you ideally want a matching Vladof enhancement, and you want it to have bullet hose and box magazine. Box magazine is the most important one, as you need that magazine size to be able to have an infinite magazine from your witchy trigger finger. It buys you an extra half second to get the Eldritch blast damage off, and bullet hose is obviously really nice, because it's essentially 30% more damage. After that, you want ideally gun damage, and then anything else that helps the damage you deal, so assault rifle damage, gun critical damage, etc. This one's actually quite bad, though the accuracy is a little bit nice, but this build would be doing even more damage if I had a better enhancement with its damage rolls. After that, we have a neat little pairing that I'm sure you've seen around the place. It's kind of a Vex bread and butter at this point, and it's the classic Teen Witch using its lifesteal into shield to enable all sorts of shenanigans, but we will be combining it with What's for Dinner. This then simply does a couple things. It gives us a permanent full overshield, which is lovely for making you immortal, but it also gives you plus 25% shock damage. And this isn't the shock damage you deal increases by 25%, it's all damage you deal then does 25% again as shock. So if you hit for 1000 kinetic, this will put 250 shock on, which is obviously a huge gain in damage, especially against shields. And the reason we're using it, though, is not that. The reason we're using it is amp. When you combine an amp shield with a Teen Witch, essentially you do a plus 100% damage shot, which is obviously a big increase, take 28% of your shield, then you immediately lifesteal your shield back to full and fire the next amp shot. Essentially, this combo means even at this fire rate, nearly every bullet we're firing is double damage amped. And the most important thing is an amp shield. But out of all the shields in the game that can have amp, the one that's best to have it on that adds the most damage is What's for Dinner here. So that's your gear. When it comes to your firmware, of course, we want 3 out of 3 Deadeye for that critical hit damage. The accuracy is nice as well, because you are, you know, spraying bullets here, and the critical hit stacking is also good, because you're going to still be aiming at critical spots, and we do have 15% crit chance anywhere. Then you want 2 out of 3 Rubber Band Man, just for that extra lifesteal. More lifesteal translates to more damage because of our skill tree, but also the extra lifesteal means that this is going to have an even easier time constantly refilling shields for amps and gives more uptime. So all in all, this package comes together to just be the monster you're seeing. So how do you play this then? Well, your shield's going to be generating these all over the ground that you can run over and get permanent overshields, so that's something to keep in mind. But other than that, you are essentially approaching the boss. You are going to enter Incarnate, you're going to take your rep kit, you're going to melee the boss, and then you're just going going to hold left click while spamming Eldritch Blast for the infinite ammo, and watch the ungodly amounts of damage roll in like so, and have just the time of your life. It really is that simple. We would have comfortably made it to 8-9 million damage in the 10-second mark, which, to say it's not abusing any of the clearly overpoweredly broken stuff in the game, yeah, that is pretty damn swish. It's very simple, straightforward. When you're just mobbing and so on and so forth, don't worry about meleeing every single enemy. You don't need the extra damage. It's just for bosses, and you just spray the head a little bit. Like, in that slight little left click I just held down, I did 250k damage. So every random little enemy in badass, you just kind of, oh, okay, stop. They're dead. Oh, okay, stop, they're dead. And, oh, okay, they stop, they're dead. It might be a little bit more awkward because you will have to reload because you don't have permanent Incarnate up, but you can see how it goes, and it more than gets the job done. So there we have it, everybody. The best Vex in build in game that is thoroughly nerf-proof, and something that you can take righteous advantage of both now and whenever the changes do hit. I'm very, very proud of this one. Probably the best build that I've come up with so far. A lot of testing has gone into it, let me tell you. But now, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.